Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, welcome. This is Wileen Benson. Thank you for joining our gratitude call today. Thank you for being here live, and also those who are listening on the podcast. Just want to give you a special welcome as well. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I know today is going to be awesome. As people were sharing their gratitude before I started the recording, I just felt like there was this feeling of overwhelming peace, of just like everything is fine. And I asked them to share some words that describe that to them, and lots of really good words: peace, harmony, contentment, clarity, satisfaction, love, alignment. All of those are really good, and they all describe kind of what I was feeling as you were sharing everybody was sharing their words of gratitude today. Somebody, let's see, I think it was Aubrey that said she was grateful for the comforts of soft blankets and warm baths. And I was just thinking just like floating in a warm tub of water, just like, that's the feeling that I was trying to find a word for. Was one of the words actually that came to me. But we're going to go with harmony. So I don't think we've really done gratitude for harmony yet, and that feels like a good place for us to begin. So 90 seconds private silent meditation on Colleen says confidence in the Lord's care. Yeah, that's another good way to describe that too. Thank you. Okay, so 90 seconds private silent meditation on gratitude for harmony. And we'll see what comes up. And if you have a different word that you're using, feel free to substitute that word in your private meditation. And we'd love to hear what your inspiration is from this focus on this feeling of awe. Maybe we'll do that, the feeling of awe. I don't know. Go ahead and unmute. Tell me what you think. What word should we use today?
I like awe.
Okay. We got a confirmation there.
I like harmony.
Okay.
I like harmony. It's confidence in hitting the right note, that you're on the right path, that you feel very confident in your ability, and just
cool. Okay. That's what we'll
guide it. Right.
All right. We'll go ahead and keep it at harmony. But whatever that means to you, go ahead and focus on that. So allow yourself to be open, your mind, heart, soul, thoughts, everything to be open to what inspiration you can receive. This 90-second private silent meditation, gratitude for harmony. Begin. All right. Took me a minute to get started, but then it was like everything started flowing, and the time actually ended a lot sooner than I had expected. So I kind of went with that feeling of awe, because that was what I was trying to find a word to describe. So that's kind of what my feeling of harmony feels like. And the feeling that I've been having lately, and I mentioned yesterday a little bit on the gratitude call about some of the feelings that I've been having, and it's been really interesting, this kind of stage or this phase or whatever that I'm in, as I'm working daily to get in pure alignment with God, and really wanting to be able to talk face to face with him and know what his will is and what his mind is. I'm going to be talking about that more in the masterclass tomorrow at 1:30. So if you haven't registered for that, make sure you find that registration link. It's on all of my platforms in Facebook, so you can find that really easily. Just this feeling of nothingness. In fact, there's even a scripture that says something like, "How great is your nothingness," which might sound like, how rude to think that I'm worth nothing or whatever, but that's not what it means. It's like this feeling of nothingness. And Brittany mentioned it before we started the recording. She was grateful for the utter dependence on God, and how easy life is when we know that, when we are nothing, when we feel that great nothingness that we are, and the great amazingness that God is, and that he knows everything. And he also loves us enough to be able to show us everything if we'll just depend on him, if we'll just go to him. It's that complete submission and trust. Like a child, we're told we have to become as a little child to enter into his presence. And it is such just a peaceful feeling to know that we can just completely submit, we can completely trust, and that it's just this beautiful place of nothingness is the only thing that I can describe it as. Is I don't have any fear, I don't have any desires to do anything according to my own will. It's just like, what is your mind? I just want to know what your mind and your will is, and that's what I want to do. And it's not even I'm willing to do it, it's like that's what I want to do. So I had some other things, but I'll go ahead and stop there. Colleen.
Well, I went with harmony because I've played the saxophone all through high school and middle school, and I got so that I was pretty timid and wouldn't belt out the noise, because I was so afraid of hitting the wrong notes. And sometimes my band director, he was my band director from the time that I started till the time I ended, and I think he retired after I graduated. But I just remember sometimes he'd throw down his baton, and just that correction felt so condemning. I don't feel like that with the Lord. When I make a mistake, he adjusts the music to making that discord be okay. And that all my mistakes and all of the mistakes that I might make, it's going to be for the good of the peace. And there's got to be a little bit of discord, but yet trust in the composer, trust in the
beautiful,
just the real willingness to go ahead and make mistakes boldly, because that the Lord can even use those.
Yes,
and to not be so timid. But being timid at first is not a total bad thing. Mm-hmm. But then to go forward with confidence and strength and be heard. Mm-hmm. I like the whole harmony thing.
Really that's awesome. Thank you. Really great thoughts here. I know a lot of times as children, we look to our parents, or we look to teachers, instructors as God, because they know so much more than we do, that, it's like, oh, I did something wrong, and how we feel. And we kind of translate that over to maybe how we must feel if we do something that's out of alignment in God's eyes. But you're right. He is like the perfect teacher. He's the perfect parent. He's the perfect father in heaven. And he does want us to blare those notes out, even if they're not perfect, because you're absolutely right. He can use all of that for our good. He brings everything together for our good, and as well, for the good of others. And he can use all of it. So thank you.
He's the perfect composer. All of our mistakes are for the good.
Yeah, beautiful. Yep, he can use all things for our good. And that's what my masterclass is on tomorrow. So great thoughts. Thank you. Tyree, and then Phil and Mary.
So mine was similar to my mom's. I was just thinking, I love listening to the complexity of the harmonies, and with all of the different, all the different pieces in the music, and where all the notes are in this perfect pitch, and the blending of the notes create this soulful rejoicing. And when life goes like that, it's where our eyes are focused on just Christ, and then the wind and the waves, we don't even notice that they're there, because we just feel so much peace because we're in alignment with Christ.
Beautiful. Thank you. I remember sitting in a performance of an a cappella group, and if I remember right, must have been somebody in there that had perfect pitch, or maybe they all did, because I don't even remember like them plunking a note to see where to start. They just took off, and it was like the most soul-filling sound. It was more than just sound. It really just touched every sense that I own. It was such an amazing experience. So I love that. And to see how, keeping eyes on Christ, we are totally in harmony with him. And so nothing is dissonant. There's no dissonance. Thank you. Phil.
So what came to me was the two phrases, this is not enough and there is not enough. Mm-hmm. And there's a big difference between those two phrases. And because this is not enough is a judgment that we make within us that's part of our creation process. Mm-hmm. We say, okay, so I've completed the task, for example, and this is not enough. This is not up to the standard that I want, or whatever. And that's part of who you are. It's part of taking the disorder and making order out of it. I think of an employee who does a minimal effort and then produces something that is not up to par. It's not up to standard of what the company has set forth. And so, the supervisor goes back and says something like, this is not enough. This is not good enough. You need to try harder. And really, I think that's what it is with our whole life, that yes, we need to try harder so that we can become, and not settling for mediocre, but moving forward with faith. And, ultimately we know that we'll become perfect, but in the meantime, we get to use our creative powers. And when we just settle, then I think that I don't know. I just think that keeps us stuck when we say, when we settle, we stay stuck. We don't progress. We don't move forward. And that's what my thought.
Yes, I love that. That idea of this is not enough. We're constantly making judgments, aren't we? And it doesn't serve to make a judgment on ourselves and say, well, this is not enough, so I must not be enough. That's not the lesson that we need to take from that. If it's not enough, it's like, okay, go back and try again. And that, I think, is more of the that parenting, or that supervising, that God would do. It's like, okay, I know you can do better. This is a great effort, but you're capable of so much more. And so, really seeing ourselves through the eyes of Christ rather than seeing ourselves through the eyes of mediocrity, or that, not being enough. So any judgments that we make on this is not enough would not be a judgment on myself, but a judgment on what I'm capable of and how I can continue to create something even better. That's we need to make those judgments every once in a while. Yesterday, I touched up the paint in my bedroom because it was not enough. There was something, it was bugging me. And so it was time to do something about it. So it's those types of things. And now it's like that feeling of, there's more harmony in my bedroom now. Thank you. Mary.
That was one of the things that I had written down, is that we decorate or design our home to have a flow, to have harmony. So that paint is part of it. But what I thought of was the peace that comes from living in harmony with God and myself and us together, and then with others, harmony being synchronized, like the notes of the musical notes. They all work together. They're different notes that make a beautiful piece of music, a beautiful sound. Just like on the piano, the white keys, the black keys on a piano, they're all different, but they work together to make a beautiful, harmonious sound. Or they can make a really ear-piercing sound, but they work in harmony with each other. And when we look at our family, and I look at my family, and we're all different, but when we work or play together, there's harmony. There can be harmony there, that we get to choose, I guess. But that's one of the things I thought of, was that harmony, that, it took me a bit, and that helps me to look at family and go, okay, you know what, we're all different, but we all we make music together, and we do the dance together in harmony.
Beautiful. I've been in choirs where there would be someone that was a little bit tone deaf, and they're singing their note, and it's a little bit, it's out of tune, and it's like church choirs, you let everybody come, so it's not a big deal, but there's just this, if they would just like go up a half a step, it would be so much better. I think we get that way sometimes, even, with others, and even with God, where we have we put our foot down, and this is the way I am, and you're just going to have to live with it. And you're the one that needs to change. And even talking to God that way, this is the way I am, and you need to fix this or whatever. That doesn't create harmony. That's not what harmony is all about. It's all about coming together to make a beautiful sound, coming together to create something really beautiful, and to allow everyone to listen and learn and kind of tweak that. So it's like, you finally get to that moment of, it's like, oh, this sounds so good, or this feels so good. That moment of peace when everybody is, when I say like compromise, but it isn't all about, it's not people pleasing. There's a difference. It's like a coming together rather than I'm always the one that has to change. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Well, I had thought of, how we want to make things happen. That's such a good reminder. We want to make things happen a certain way. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a good reminder to, because in this world, we're thinking for ourselves, but we're also wanting the Lord's will. So it's like, there's this, like, it's finding that place where I thinking for myself, but also, I embracing his will and, and seeking it every day.
Mm-hmm. It's like working in tandem with God. and also with others. There's changes that can be made to invite other people and, be a more welcome, safe place for others. And there's things that we can do and change. Doesn't not necessarily to have to change who we are. We definitely want to be authentic. But at the same time, there's some different ways that we can come together to be more welcoming, more open, more harmonious.
Yeah, and more honoring of the different pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I love that. Respecting and honoring. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? All right, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And just allow yourself to be in that space of harmony right now. Open your heart, open yourself to know what God's intentions and what his mind is, what he would desire for you, because you know that it's way better than you could even imagine. So allow yourself to be open to that. And also being open to allowing your awareness of others to be in this space as well, of maybe ways that things have been not harmonious in the past. Maybe there's been some resistance on your part, or maybe somebody's coming at you with some negativity or whatever, just not feeling that really feeling of peace and harmony. And just be in this space of nothingness right now, where everything's good, everything's okay, and it's just a learning space. You're in a safe place right now where you can, you don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to fight for your way of thinking or anything like that. Just be in this space of nothingness where everything is good, everything is fine, everything is just peace right now, peace and order in God's timing. And just be open to know what could God teach you right now in this moment where you're in a space of nothingness, not needing to prove yourself or prove your point or prove anything, just allowing yourself to be in this space of humility, listening, divine tutoring, being the student. And what could God teach you that would help you to have more harmony in your life? If there's a particular situation that had come up or a person, just be specific, allow him to be specific in this particular situation or with this person, how you can create more harmony in your life, something that you could change in your life, in your way of being, that would create more harmony. Or something that you can learn. Maybe there's a blind spot that you hadn't noticed before. Maybe you could see things from the other person's perspective or from God's perspective. See it from a higher view. What can you learn? What blind spots are being opened up? And with this new information, listen for any limiting beliefs that might be coming up, where maybe there's this fear that's coming up, like but if I do this, then maybe something like that, or just any limiting beliefs that might be coming up about the situation or the person, or about how you might have to change, or whatever it is. Just notice those limiting beliefs, write those down. And what is the cost of having those limiting beliefs? If God has just been tutoring you and opening up these blind spots, and you've got these limiting beliefs that are resisting that tutoring, what is the ultimate cost of keeping these limiting beliefs? What's the cost to your harmony? What's the cost to that feeling of peace and order in your life? And as you're noticing what the cost is of those limiting beliefs, you get to give yourself permission right now, if you choose to change, to create some new beliefs, to let go of that limiting belief, to choose into something different, to see what the results might be. So if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, to see what new results might be available, say yes.
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 Awesome. And so as you have given yourself permission to let go of those limiting beliefs, now it's time to choose some new beliefs that will create more harmony in your life and more harmony in this particular situation, that you can invite the harmony that is available to you to feel it, maybe even for the first time with this particular situation. What new beliefs will really bring that feeling of peace and harmony in your life? Two or three new beliefs. And when you have those written down, just take a deep breath and bring those new beliefs into that space of nothingness that we've created, and into a classroom setting there with God, and present those new beliefs to Him as sort of like a homework assignment that now you're turning in, and see as He's grading those those new beliefs, and are they enough? Are they enough to allow you to move forward from this meditation, from this call today, and stepping into more of a place of harmony in this particular situation with this person? And if He gives it back to you, like Phil was talking about, and says, you need to try a little harder, that's okay, because maybe there are some new words that He's given you that He could say, maybe you could try this. So just check in, make sure those new beliefs are enough to allow you to have peace and harmony in your life in this particular area. This is a big deal. And the universe is very aware of words. And so just check in and make sure that those new beliefs are enough. And then accept that congratulations, that A+, gold star, whatever it is that you're feeling, that you have completed this stage of moving towards having peace and harmony. That's just the first step, but it is like the portal that allows you to step fully into peace and harmony. And so as in a moment, I've got one more question, but in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come back into this physical state where things exist, where it's not this space of nothingness. So just be aware that you're going to be bringing those new beliefs back with you into the real world, the physical world. Maybe it's not the real world. I think this is the fake world. But this is the place where physical things exist and where these people or these situations exist. So we'll be bringing these new beliefs back. But first, we have one last question in this space of nothingness where everything's okay. Your will is completely given over to God, and just listening for what is best for you. What is the one most important thing you could do today, to one action step that you could do that will create peace and harmony in your life in this situation or with this person? One most important thing, and just listen for the thought to come to you. It's not something that you create, because you're in this space of nothingness where everything is just God's will and your choice to be in alignment with His will. So what is the one most important thing you could do today, your inspired shortcut to creating peace and harmony in your life? And this bring that and those new beliefs and that feeling of peace and harmony back to the present. And as you're coming back, I just want to invite all of you to If there is anyone that feels like they need some extra support in this area, I would love to have a 15-minute conversation with you. All you have to do is just go to askwilene.com, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute free mentoring session. Tyree put in the chat, as I have been rewriting my ideal life vision and personal declarations, I have seen how harmony brings all the pieces together beautifully. Awesome. Thanks, Tyree. Is there anybody else that would like to share something about their experience today? Mary.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah. So trusting the process, and trusting that my next step is my next step, and not worrying about whether it looks productive or not, whether it is productive or not. I guess my limiting belief is I have to do what looks productive. And the cost is I'm busy trying to look productive, and I'm missing the point and the next step. And so for me, taking time to just be and read. I have a book I need to read, and I want to read, and I want to finish. And anything else I can do is not going to be productive. It's not going to be in harmony with what's next. It's just not in harmony. So I am in harmony. I am in harmony with what's next. I am following and trusting God's instruction, and I am living in harmony with God.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. And that's what I found with my inspired shortcuts is they are things that are very doable. Sometimes we resist them. Take time to read. Oh my word, like how easy is that, but how easy it would be to resist that. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, because it's low movement.
Yeah. You're a high movement person. So, yeah, totally. Yeah. That's interesting. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I trust it though.
Beautiful. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we end our call today? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on our call today. I'm just super excited for what you get to create, what we all get to create with our inspired shortcuts, and creating this new feeling of harmony and peace. I mean, what better energy can we put out into the world right now? Is that feeling of harmony and peace? Mary, did you have another thought?
I did, because sometimes, for instance, my next step now, it's the thing that will bridge the gap. It's the thing that I need to walk into my next step.
Yes. That's exactly what inspired shortcuts are, right? I mean, think about if it's a shortcut, it's going from here to there. Even a shortcut that you take on the road, you're not there yet. And so I'm here, I want to get there. What's the fastest way? Oh, to take time to read? Okay, cool. That's what I'll do. It's bridging the gap from here, where I'm at right now, to where I want to be.
Yep.
Love it. Thank you. Awesome. Well, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything, for being here, and for all of your shares. It's just been awesome being here together with you today, and look forward to being back together tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you're listening on the podcast and haven't been here live for a while, I encourage you to come and be here live. It's just a really awesome space to be. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Love you guys.
Thank you. Love you all.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wilenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.